Good morning. Welcome to Southern Virginia. It's a cloudy, damp day out here this morning. It's fairly warm though, so it's actually a good day to work outside. I'm in the garden. I'm doing cleanup and transformation here. Many of you know, I've been gone for the better part of 3 years, and so the garden got neglected. I came back, I had trees down from the windstorms and just a huge mess, but I'm trying to bring it back. Let me turn you around quickly here. So here I have 2 peach trees, which they're in their 3rd year, and they have not been pruned yet this year. My Santa Rosa plums are blooming, and I did prune them first thing when I got back 2 weeks ago, and they just had tiny little nodules of green on them, so I don't think it hurt them at all. And I think they're going to be fine. So I got quite a mess here, but I just want to show you what we're doing. Had this area covered in tarps just for weed suppression while I was gone. Had this whole area done, and certain seams and stuff the wind blew up, and I had some heavy growth around the beds. I've got some heavy growth grasses that grew out of control, and that area all just needs to be cleaned up still. But over here I have my blackberry rose. They're still dormant, and they've got to be cleaned up and pruned and tied back up. My fence has to be repaired. We had some serious wind problems. But what I want to talk to you today about is back to Eden gardening. And so I started, this whole plot was hard red clay. 5 years ago when we moved here, one of the first things I did is this whole area from where those beds are all the way over through here, over past those peach trees, I covered with cardboard and wood chips, which I got from the tree company as they were pruning in the area. And right away, I mean, within 2 years, you could notice a difference. Now this is the 5th year. I'm actually scraping it up here. I'm going to put a greenhouse here. And so compost is one of the most challenging things about growing, because we always need a fresh supply of compost, and it seems like we can never make it fast enough. So that's a separate issue though. Let me stay on point here. This area, I could stick a shovel in here and just slightly push on it, and it's very soft, and that's the chips that have broken down over the years. The back to Eden method, as it's most commonly known. Now that's not finished compost, but it's well on its way. So that was my plan originally, was to have this whole thing be a back to Eden food forest. Pretty quickly, within a couple of years, I realized that that's a constant battle on weed suppression, and I know that some people do it in a way where it's a symbiotic relationship, and they grow ground covers and they do all this other stuff. So I'm pretty much working this plot alone, and it's just labor intensive. And if I could get to that point where I could establish all those things, it may get easier, but it's to the point where I can't get on top of it, and I spend all my time just cleaning up and trying to get to that point. So what I did when I put these tarps down, right, I started to realize that those are billboard tarps. That is an awesome, obviously these have been here 3 years, or at least 2.5 years. I put them in the fall, the 2nd year back, and no weeds have come through. Now where they separated and around the trees, I left gaps. They were full of weeds. I cleaned out around the trees. But I've got these, which also need to be cleaned out. I made them several years ago. I've got 5, 6 here, and I've got another couple down in my other garden that I'm abandoning, that I'm going to move up. So these can be filled with good compost, and they can be placed on these tarps. And that, along with the raised beds, it allows me to control the weeds much easier, right? And so I'm going to put a greenhouse here, but there's going to obviously be a tarp under that as well. And then any, like these pots is what I grow my peppers in, they can sit on the tarps. I hope it's all making sense. I think once I get it in place and I show you, I think it will. But the plan is to get away from the Back to Eden because of the maintenance and to move into this raised bed container gardening. Now, through the years, I've had great success with my peppers, and I will never ever grow them in anything but those black nursery pots. The sun attracts the soil, the black pots attract the sun, which warms the soil. Peppers love warm soil. Now, in the middle of the summer here in Southern Virginia, it gets hot, you got to water them every day. But I've had bumper crops of peppers almost every year. And so here's a couple more of those. These things are cleaned out. Between these, I have 6 here, like I said, and I've got a couple more down there. I've got 8 in total, and I could always get more. And I've got these raised beds. I should be able to produce all the veg that I want to. I've got a lot of fruit bushes. There's a fig tree, and I've got another fig tree on the back fence line. Over here I've got some goji berries, and I've got some blackberries, all still dormant. My plan is to grow this year in these 2 raised beds. Now this one has to be topped off, filled with compost, and this one is very good compost from last year, but it's got to be topped off, obviously, or filled up a little more. So these other 2 with the dirt mounded up, and this one I just built in the summer. We were home for a month in the summer, this U-shaped one. So this was just built. Filled it with wood in a hugelkultur style, and then put wood chips on top of that. And this one's nowhere near ready to be planted in. This is going to be heavy compost. So this whole year, I'm going to just put all my compost in here. I'm going to try to compost in place. And so when I started scraping for the greenhouse, this is what I found. This is what the Back to Eden did. Now that's pretty good stuff. Now I wouldn't say it's finished compost, but it's pretty close. But I'm going to spread this and then leave a few inches on top to put sifted compost. I think I almost could plant in this one this year. So these 2 are going to be similar. And so that one, again, could take, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches of that stuff, and then sifted compost on top. And I'll compost in place as we go. So it kind of really wasn't the plan, because when I started, I didn't expect this to be so far along, but it really is. So couple things, takeaways, keep in mind. Always want to be composting. Always want to be building soil. And rotted wood chips, cardboard boxes, paper towel rolls, any kind of carbon form mixed with, this is how I do it anyway, I mix it with my green grass clippings, and that'll make a quick, decent compost that I've had really good luck growing stuff in. And of course I mix my kitchen scraps in and all that too. Here's another dormant goji berry in this cage behind here. Is doing pretty well. Actually, it's starting to green out a little there, isn't it? And again, I got to trim it because it's been a couple years, and I'm going to get it to grow up here. So, yeah, so I guess, Back to Eden, it's a great idea. And if you've got 3 or 4 people managing a plot, or 2 even, young, strong people that can put in, large amounts of time, and it's manageable, and you can get it to that point where you've got the ground covers established and you keep the weeds down, it's a good way to go, because obviously it works. Obviously it turned hard red clay into beautiful compost. For me, being a 60-year-old, one person working here, it's just my wife and I, and she's got her hands full inside. She does just about everything in keeping the house up, and so this is kind of my baby out here. this is the way to go, in my opinion. Tarps, put the grow beds on top, or those tubs and IBC tote planters, and expand out from there. If I can keep adding more totes, I can keep, you know, expanding that with more beds, and I believe I'll have more than enough grow space in this area to do that. And then in the ground, I've got the fruit trees, the goji berries, the berry bushes, the fig trees, and my blackberries, which again all need work. And I'll show you one other thing and I'll close the video. This is a fig tree that I transplanted here the other day. Now this, I saw a millennial gardener, he's in North Carolina, a few hours south of here, and he does what he calls espalier. He trains these to grow on a trellis. And so it's a little brittle now, but when it comes out of dormancy, I'm hoping it's going to put off some new shoots. I'm just going to see what it does, but I'm going to try to do that on this fence as well. And that's my second fig tree. I'm going to get some more fig trees. I want to get some more fruit trees as I move forward, but I've got my hands full cleaning up. And so that's it. I'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you're interested in this kind of thing, I'm going to try to make the videos more regularly. I encourage you to like and subscribe if you do like, and if you would like to subscribe. And thanks for watching. God bless you.